Greetings, guys. Today is time for another YouTube video. Sorry I haven't been around a bit. I've been really swamped with midterms and finals at UCSD. So there's that. I want to welcome my new subscriber who just subscribed. I am approaching 110 subscribers, and I hope to have good channel growth. But we're going to be talking about a very sensitive topic, and I want to be very careful about this, because there's been a whole bunch of very questionable, false YouTube violation of service requirements. And even though I'm not monetized, I'd prefer not to have my channel taken down. So I'm going to be very, very careful. Additionally, I got a warning. There was this guy who apparently commented on literally everything on this Middle Eastern Monitor news update on Gaza. It was just like, kill them all. And quite frankly, what he said was definitely against the violation of terms of service. I'm pretty sure calling for the complete death of all Arab people in the area is a violation of terms of service. But I accidentally replied to him 3 times, not realizing it was the same guy. And he's like, this is harassment. I'm like, I'm not harassing you. It's a public forum, and I'm responding to your comments. I didn't know that you responded to literally every single comment chain. Anywho, I got a warning saying that I was bullying or harassing him, and that if I continued, that they would either ban my ability to comment or tank my channel. So I'm going to be very, very careful on this. Now that I've gotten this warning out of the way, I also don't want to be silenced by YouTube over this. So the war in Gaza has essentially continued for almost 160 days at this point. So we're almost on month 6, and well, things have only gotten worse. It went from the hospital was leveled by a misfired Palestinian rocket, which could have occurred, to Israel bombing literally every single hospital in the Gaza Strip, eliminating all the ambulances, targeting women and children, bombing zones that they said that they were evacuating, using food as a weapon of war, which again is another war crime, attempting to deliberately starve the Gazans, at the aid convoy massacre. So they claim that they feel threatened or under attack. It's like, these people are starving, and this is the only aid truck that's been allowed in for a long time. Of course people are going to mob it. And they claim that they were shot at, or that they just shot, or that they didn't, or that most people died in the trampling. But the autopsy results say that most of the people have bullet wounds, meaning that Israel, shot and killed them. Meanwhile, the international court has basically said that genocide, claims of apartheid and ethnic cleansing have continued. Protests worldwide continue. More and more revelations suggest that Netanyahu knew about it and did nothing solely to stay in power. Trying to summarize like 4 months in little time as possible without hitting censorship rules. So let's see. The sewage and water plants were eliminated. Egypt and Jordan have both kept their borders closed. Israel keeps suggesting that the entire population should be forcibly removed elsewhere, which, would be cleansing. The government's official position has been that they want to build a whole bunch of new settlements on the coast for Israelis after forcibly removing the entire population. Protesters against Netanyahu are often jailed. Conscription is becoming a big problem because the Orthodox people, who are mostly the ones responsible for the illegal settlements, don't want to serve in the army. Biden continues to try and seek peace, but not realizing that Netanyahu doesn't like him, and that he's always hated him, and that he's deliberately sabotaging him to get Trump in office, because Trump has basically said, do whatever you want. Additionally, let's just say that Netanyahu interfered in American elections in 2016 and 2020 to try and help Trump, so that doesn't help matters. Meanwhile, ceasefire protests continue. Israeli hostages continue to be indiscriminately bombed by Israeli Air Force. What else? Momentum for doing something, anything to stop the slaughter has continued to increase in most countries, with, support for Israel continuing to fall. Biden is basically, we moved to airdropping aid, but it's not enough because, it's Israel or Gaza Strip relied on 120 trucks every day, and now they're getting the equivalent of a couple. Additionally, Israeli settler far-right activists have broken through the barricade in certain points and have literally thrown their body in between the aid convoys, and the aid convoys have essentially decided not to run these people over. And people in Israel continue to call for deliberate starvation. Protests in the U.S. get more and more dicey as, neither side particularly likes each other, but there's been an increase in attacks on Jewish people, which of course is bad. Don't attack someone who has a different belief from you. Don't just go around randomly attacking Jewish Americans. That's bad. We've also seen universities get into fire over spending more effort combating anti-Semitism than Islamophobia. Personally, I hate the term, but basically there's been an increase in assaults on both Arab students and anyone supporting Palestine, so that's also a problem. And Biden is trying to thread the needle between supporting literally both sides. It's like, Israel has the right to defend itself. Well, they suffered 1.3 thousand casualties, and they've killed 40,000 people, mostly women and children, and the death toll is probably increasing by a couple hundred each and every day. It's way beyond disproportionate. Additionally, despite every analyst being like, Israel will easily roll over the Gaza Strip because they control the air, they control the land, they control all the access and entry points. It looks like they're bogged down. They've been bogged down for a couple months now at this point. I mean, they took the north half of it and a couple more refugee camps, and they forced more and more people into refugee camps. They've just been stalled around Rafah for a long time. Additionally, no one really knows how many IDF soldiers have been injured or killed. Combat statistics have just been frozen since October 7th, so if you ask me, that's pretty suspicious. And there's been a few randomly leaked reports suggesting that, Hartz, Haeertz, they're like, a hospital confirmed with us that they have 2,000 crippled Israeli soldiers. The official numbers are like a couple hundred, or a report that an entire convoy was wiped out by militants or an entire unit was wiped out, when on paper it only suffered like 10 casualties. So, just monitor the situation, basically. Unfortunately, the U.S. has taken a position of both. We're going to sell more guns to the Israelis, which they will use in violation of the Senate resolution saying that we can't sell guns to countries intent on committing war crimes or human rights abuses. Meanwhile, we'll also approve massive new funding for providing aid to these same victims that we've created. Yeah. The new pier will essentially, America will be sending stuff via Cyprus, where we'll apparently build a new base where base or port where the Israelis will inspect the stuff, and then it will be driven to the pier and will not put boots on the ground. But honestly, I'm pretty cynical. I mean, do they find weapons in there? Probably. Is inspecting every single thing designed to humiliate the Palestinians and ensure that they have as little calories as possible? Also probably, at least according to some documents. But yeah, I'm very pessimistic. I mean, the bombing of the Houthis, who, for the most part, yeah, they harass shipping, but honestly, I feel like we've not been particularly effective at getting rid of them. I mean, the Saudis essentially leveled everything, including hospitals, schools, homes. They basically leveled everything they could for the Houthis, and the Houthis still didn't lose. And there was concerns that Saudi Arabia was committing genocide in Yemen, but there's that. And I don't necessarily think that the U.S. intervening is going to be any more effective than the Saudis. And we're spending $700 million every single day randomly dropping bombs on the Houthis, and it's not seeming to have much effect. Additionally, I'm also worried because there's a lot of U.S. military bases surrounding the region, and quite frankly, Israel's policy of starting conflict with seemingly everyone is very bad for those people there. Additionally, I mean, everyone's heard the rumors. I mean, a lot of people have friends and family in the military, and they've heard rumors that they might be deployed to Israel to support Israel's war. So, yeah, we can keep protesting, keep calling your representatives, go online to the list of companies to stop using, but for the most part, it seems like people don't really care. I mean, some European countries have moved from voting against holding Israel responsible to abstain, and on the political front, Biden has publicly criticized Israel but not done anything about it. Well, Trump has basically said that if Israel that Israel can do whatever the hell they want, and he won't stop them. So, this vote third party campaign, I mean, I support third parties. We should have more choices, and both are corrupt neoliberal members of the establishment. But I also fear that they'll hand Trump, that in swing states, it will hand Trump the win, and the end result will be that war crimes in Gaza and the West Bank continue. So that's pretty much the analysis. Hopefully my channel doesn't get banned. Yeah, there's also been an increase in bans and censorship on a lot of social media, like Instagram. They're taking down basically any pro-Palestine thing while letting mainstream news literally lie to people despite it being misinformation. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully I can get you more videos more frequently. Might do an update on the war in Ukraine, or geopolitical analysis of Taiwan, whether Taiwan is getting invaded, and if so, who could win. Probably also going to do a 2024 election prediction. Basically, this whole Gaza thing is harming Biden quite a lot. And then Republicans are, of course, scaremongering on the border or the economy as well. Although, in all fairness, they don't want to. The economy is bad. They just don't want to admit the cause. The cause is neoliberalism and letting billionaires and corporations steal from us. But anywho, just a bit of right-wing populism. Oh yeah, and then Nikki Haley left, and both. It's going to be a Trump-Biden rematch, the exact opposite of what anyone wanted. So if you live in a state that's not a toss-up, another thing I advise you to do is vote for the Green Party or Cornel West or Claudia De La Cruz if you're in California. But yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day.